All right. I'll share my screen with you. Beautiful. So this evening, we are going to be going through grocery shopping. All right. I'm going to start off with planning and list writing and some benefits of those. And if you're not currently doing so, why I encourage you to plan your grocery shopping as much as possible. All right. I'll go through a few products that we may overlook whenever we go grocery shopping, sections of the store. All right. The main thing that I'm going to be focusing around are these last two. All right. So some marketing that we're going to be aware of when we're grocery shopping on products. Okay. And some cheeky things that marketers like to do and ways to sort of navigate it if you like. All right. And then finally, another thing I'm going to be mainly focusing on is reading and nutrition panels. Okay, I'm going to share a PDF from a very helpful website to help me do that with you. Okay, so I'll stop the sharing. Good stuff. Beautiful. Let's get started. I'm going to talk about lunches. Sorry, I'm going to start talking about planning first. Okay. Now, I've made a list of reasons as to why, and I'm sure at least some of you do like to plan your shopping already. Just in case if you don't, or only if you do it every now and again, I'm going to talk a few benefits behind it, and as to why I encourage you to plan your shopping as much as possible, okay? First one is it takes the guesswork out of our lunches and our dinners later in the week, okay? Obviously, every now and again, like I spoke about last week, we're going to want to treat ourselves to takeaway. Some nights we just want a nice fast meal. I understand that. That's fine. But if we're ordering Uber Eats 2, 3, 4 nights a week, if we're reaching for 2-minute noodles, if we're going to the freezer and getting your pizza out, these sorts of things aren't the most beneficial for our health, and it can potentially cause us to gain unwanted weight over time, okay? So if we plan our grocery shopping ahead of time, we're planning the meals we're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as our snacks. You're going to take a lot of the guesswork out on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, okay? So that's one really big positive behind planning, okay? The next thing as well is it saves you money. If we're going to the shops with like a rough list or no list at all, and you're just going along the aisles, getting what you think you need, I'm sure you're probably familiar with this already. There's a lot of unwanted or cheeky items that are going to end up in there, okay? You're going to end up spending more money than you want to, so it's going to hurt your wallet, but we're also probably going to put a few extra treats in there that we want to include in the first place, all right? So 2 big ones, takes the guesswork out on a week-to-week basis, and it helps you actually plan healthy, constructive meals that you want to be eating. It's also going to possibly prevent you from chucking in cheeky items. They're going to hurt your wallet, as well as potentially get in the way of your goals if you're only choosing what you have on that list, okay? And in saying that, something that I implement with some of my clients, and it works really well for some people, is I give them a 1 treat meal and a 2 treat snack target for the week, okay? So Friday night can be their takeaway treat and a couple of treat snacks. So a little bag of chips and maybe a chocolate bar, okay? If you write those on a shopping list and you only buy those single snacks that you're going to have as a planned treat, then that will also add to the effect of not reaching for extra cheekies. All right? If that makes sense. Cool. Beautiful. So there are a couple of things that I really, really vouch for planning. All right? If you're unsure in regards to recipes to plan for, if you're not aware of it, the Get Going website actually has a section, recipes, on their main website. And they have a huge database of recipes, free to anyone that goes on our website to access, okay? I really encourage you to try some of those, okay? Just letting someone else in. Beautiful. All right, let's move on to the next part. Some useful products that people can often overlook, all right? And I apologize if some of you love these things and already use them. But I've made a list of some things which I think are often overlooked and we could buy on our grocery shop a little bit more, which can be really beneficial, okay, for our health and for our goals. First one, extremely versatile, pretty economical, doesn't require any refrigeration, canned fish. Canned tuna, whether you buy the plain varieties, flavored varieties. They're also coming nowadays even with beans like kidney beans. Some varieties come with quinoa or rice as well. Canned, if not Tetra packed fish in the tuna or salmon aisle, really, really beneficial. Okay. Most of them are really good sources of protein. Some of them are really good sources of healthy omega-3 fats. Okay. And like I said already, they don't need to be refrigerated. So you can take them wherever you go and have them on the run, whether you're at work, whether you're at uni, wherever you are, you can have them on the go. It's a really good, efficient source of food safe source of protein. Okay. And the ones with grains and beans come with some fiber as well for additional health benefits and also keep you fuller for longer as well. Okay. So if you're not a regular consumer of those, get on them. All right. Cottage cheese. Now, I'm personally not a fan of this myself. However, if you're a cheese fan, cottage cheese is very overlooked. Fantastic source of protein, quite low in fats, and it can be included in many different things. You can spread it on your toast, put it in your sandwiches. You can mix that up with other things like some garlic, if not cucumber, make a dipping sauce if you like. Mix it through pasta sauces. There are so many different ways to use cottage cheese, okay? Again, fantastic source of protein, pretty low in fat, okay? If you're not already buying that. Another one is frozen vegetables, okay? Some of you, and absolutely if you prefer fresh vegetables and you include them in your day-to-day diet, fantastic, okay? Frozen vegetables though, again, are a fantastic way to still get the wide array of beneficial nutrients in vegetables. However, they're pretty economical, the big bags of them, and they're already pre-chopped up, ready to go. Chuck them in the microwave, chuck them in the fry pan. They're very convenient on the nights where we want to go, I can't be stuffed chopping up veg. Gives you no excuses of chucking those vegetables into your meal, okay? Frozen vegetables are fantastic. Another one's microwave rice. Now, I know quite a lot of people who use this, so it's pretty popular, I'm going to say. Microwave rice, if you're not using it, another really great, fantastic way to incorporate a good quality carbohydrate source, especially if you're eating brown rice or whole grain varieties. And if you want a really fast, quick meal when you get home, can't be bothered waiting for the rice to cook, chuck the microwave rice in the microwave. It takes 2 minutes, okay? And you get a source of whole grains in your dinner, lunch or dinner, all right? Couple of other quick ones I'm going to go through here. Herbs and spices, okay? May sound basic. However, a lot of us tend to shift or gravitate towards flavoring our food with oil, flavoring our food with heaps and heaps of salt, putting sugary sauces like tomato sauce or sugary sweet chili sauce, mayonnaise, whatever it may be. Some of us, not all of us, tend to gravitate towards those things really, really quickly, okay? Again, things that are okay sometimes, probably not the best for our health in the long run. Salt is probably one of the main culprits. A little bit of salt's okay, but if we're adding heaps of it to literally everything we eat, we're probably not doing the best thing for our blood pressure over time, okay? So I really encourage you to head to the spice aisle. There will be a huge range of little jars of spices, okay, to choose from, as well as if you're a little bit more daring, head to the fresh herbs section and include more fresh herbs. For an example, in your pasta sauce, instead of adding heaps and heaps and heaps of salt, try and substitute some of that for a bit more garlic powder, if not fresh garlic, and some chopped fresh parsley and oregano. All right, that'll add some beautiful flavor. May not be a regular thing that you include, okay? Finally, similar to the frozen veg, pre-chopped up vegetables, okay? It's absolutely cheaper to buy a whole head of broccoli or whole capsicums or whole carrots, whatever it may be. However, if you're not in the mood for cooking, want a really nice fast meal, and you don't want to make the excuse of can't be bothered with veg tonight, then there's an array of pre-chopped up and pre-shredded vegetables, okay, from Coles or Woolies that you can grab, chuck in the fry pan, chuck in the oven, chuck in the microwave. They can be done in under 10 minutes, okay? Hopefully, some of those products that I suggested were helpful or maybe out of the ordinary for you, okay? I encourage you to try some of those, okay? We'll move on now. I'm just going to cover this briefly. Store sections of the supermarket, all right? Now, stereotypically, when we think about it, I'm sure at least one of you have heard of it before. stick mostly to the outsides and less so in the middle, okay? There's some utility in saying that. Reason being, the fruit and vegetables and the fresh protein section, like meat and seafood, usually to one side. And on the other side, not all the time, but we usually have dairy, like milk, yogurt, as well as eggs and things like that. And the freezer section, like I said before, with frozen vegetables, right? So yes, there is utility in saying that. Probably more fresh produce in the refrigerators and freezers around the outside. Tends to be a little bit more processed foods in the middle, in the aisles, okay? Our confectionery, our chips, our crackers, our oils, all of these sorts of things, okay? So yes, there is some utility in saying that. However, don't avoid the middle aisles. There are still many, many beneficial products. Like I said before, rice, and if not whole grain pastas, these sorts of things that are in the middle as well, okay? So some utility to that, but I wouldn't be too focused on that stereotype, right? One thing I do encourage you to be aware of, though, is checkouts. Okay, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. When we head to a checkout, putting our stuff up onto the scanner belt, and we see chocolate bars with big yellow tickets, chips with big yellow tickets, soft drink with big yellow tickets, all of these cheeky things that they like to put on special right in front of you at point of sale to chuck in your basket. Yeah, a bit of that, bit of that. Okay? They're tricking you into buying those things to get little bits of extra revenue. I really encourage you, unless it's planned into your weekly treat snacks, to lead astray from the little cheeky point of sale, confectionery, chocolate chip sorts of things. Okay? So just that's one big section of the supermarket, the point of sale when you're scanning things. Try to do your best to not fall for their cheeky gimmicks. All right? Cool. So I've covered some useful products that you may not be aware of. Okay? Sections of the supermarket, okay, as well as list planning and why I encourage you to plan your grocery shops. Okay? The two major things I'm going to cover now that I really, really want to make a point of focus are marketing tactics, okay, that we see on products. Now, there's millions of different tactics that different products or brands use, so I'm not going to cover all of them. I've just made a list of some of the main ones that I want to myth bust for you or help you navigate when you're looking at a product, okay? First main one that I see all over things nowadays is gluten-free, all right? Gluten-free bread, gluten-free crackers, gluten-free bars, whatever it may be, okay? Now, in a previous webinar quite a while ago, I covered some myth busting around gluten, but long story short, there is no reason to avoid gluten unless you are a celiac or if a doctor or a dietitian has recommended you to do so because they believe you to be intolerant to it, okay? If neither of those things happen, those things have happened, there are no health benefits to avoiding gluten, okay? It's just a protein that's found in wheat products, okay? It's not going to do you any harm unless you are allergic to it or if a medical or health professional have said that you're intolerant to it, okay? So if you see gluten-free right across the label, again, it's giving a warning, it's giving a benefit to celiacs that they can eat that product. But some brands are probably trying to trick you to try and create what I call the health halo effects and to try and suck you in, okay? Next one is organic, okay? Organic foods. Now, organic foods do have an environmental benefit, okay? They're grown in a much more environmentally friendly manner without the use of artificial growth agents as well as pesticides and herbicides, okay? So in saying that, there's environmental benefits to buying organic produce if you're doing so out of the ethics of the environment. However, for our health, our actual physical health benefits, most of the research that's been done says there's next to no or very, very little difference between, let's say, a regular apple and an organic apple, okay? Or regular rice and organic rice, whatever it may be, okay? So long story short there, if you want to be ethical for the environment, buy organic produce if you're willing to spend the extra money. But if you're doing it out of, I'm buying this because it's maybe think it's healthier, save your money. It's probably not going to be that much healthier necessarily. Okay, organic stuff. Next one is what I'm increasingly seeing on drinks or on other sort of products, even supplements, detoxing. Okay, whether it's detox water, whether it's a detox juice, whether it's a detox shake, whatever it may be, it never fails to amaze me, some of the products that are coming out. Usually a marketing ploy, okay? Things marketed or labeled with detox on the front aren't necessarily more healthy for you, okay? It may be a beneficial product. It may offer you health benefits, but anything that we put into our bodies is not going to detox us better, okay? Our liver is the main thing in our bodies that does that already for us, okay? Our liver's an awesome organ. It does a lot of cool things for us. So trust it, okay? Trust it to do its job. Don't need to go out of your way buying supplements and fancy products that claim to detox for you, okay? Probably just a marketing ploy, all right? Another big one nowadays is protein across the front of a product, okay? Now, protein is absolutely essential and extremely beneficial to us in our diets, okay? However, recent times with more and more of a focus on it, okay? Recent times, marketers or companies are using it as a catchword. If you want to, as what do I call it? A metaphor, clickbait, okay? They're knowing that there's interest in protein. There's know that it's really appealing nowadays. So they put a big protein label across the front to try and get people to buy their products, okay? Even if it's not necessarily a great source of protein. One example I like to use is many muesli bars, okay? You might go to the muesli bar aisle next to the Uncle Toby's and whatever other brands of regular muesli bars. You may start seeing some nut-based bars, and there's a big slogan, protein, across the front of it, yeah? I'm not saying that they're necessarily bad for you, okay? Nuts can be fantastic if they're included in moderation, but those bars have more fat and more added sugar in them than they do protein. Yeah, they may contain a little bit of protein, but they're being cheeky again, trying to suck people in, all right? We get more than enough protein in our diets from things like lean meats, chicken, fish and seafood, tofu and tempeh, other beans and legumes, as well as dairy, like high protein Greek yogurt and milk and cheese, okay? We get more than enough of these things from certain animal and plant-based sources. So if you see a product, let's say like a cracker or a muesli bar or whatever it may be, and there's a big slogan across the front saying protein, not necessarily a good source of protein, especially if you're saying this seems too good to be true. Okay, stick to the main whole food sources of protein that we know already are beneficial for us. Okay, another couple ones that I'll quickly cover that I've made note of are natural sugars. Now, I've covered this in another episode a few weeks back, but you may see on products claiming no refined sugars or natural sugars only or refined sugar free, all these sorts of things. Okay. Now, again, I won't go into too much detail because I've covered it in previous weeks, but just quickly, if you weren't watching that one, sugar is sugar to the body. Okay. Whether that is sugar from sugar cane put into your can of Coke, okay, or whether it's agave syrup put into your protein bowl that you buy from the health food aisle, your body is eventually going to digest both of those down to the same thing, okay? So it recognizes it as sugar, okay? Now, I won't go into the detail about different rates of digestion and different rates of absorption, okay? But fundamentally, your body will break it down to sugar in the end, okay? So if you see refined sugar-free or natural sugars only, it's still sugar, okay? So again, I don't want you to fear these food products. I just don't want you to get sucked in, if you like, okay? There's many different types of sugar, and on the thing that I'm about to share to you in the next section, it covers that, and you'll see, all right? So long story short, any sort of sugar added to our foods, regardless of whether it's regular cane sugar, coconut sugar, any type of syrup like rice malt syrup, even if people add honey to things, I'm not saying honey's bad, but even if honey's added to things like muesli bars, it's still sugar, okay, at the end of the day, all right? Final one that I want to cover here is percent fat-free, all right? Now, some products are genuinely low fat and potentially better for us. I'll use the comparison of full-fat Greek yogurt to low-fat or fat-free Greek yogurt, okay? Let's compare like two Chobani yogurts. The lower fat one is probably going, depending on the person, of course, probably going to be slightly better for our health, okay, in that instance. So that's where low fat or percent fat free products may be beneficial. However, we have to be aware of certain products which remove the fat out of it and then replace a lot of that fat with sugar, okay? I'll use two common examples. One of them is certain brands of flavored yogurt, okay? I think Yoplait is one example of a yogurt brand where, yeah, they create a lower fat yogurt, but they put a hell of a lot of added sugar into it, okay, to counteract the taste difference or to accommodate for that, okay? Another one is peanut butter. You may go to the peanut butter aisle and it'll say light peanut butter, okay? Yes, they may have removed some of the naturally occurring oils in there out, but sometimes you may realize that they've added quite a bit of added sugar, okay, to account for that sensory taste difference, okay? So all I'm going to say here is sometimes lower fat products are probably beneficial for us, like lower fat cheese, lower fat milk and yogurt most of the time. However, just beware if it says percentage fat free. They may have added sugar in it to accommodate, or in some instances, in the lolly aisle, for example, where you see on the packet of jelly snakes or party mix where it'll say 99% fat free, you can have a case of, well, duh, it's lollies. They're sugar. They're pure sugar. Okay, they're meant for sweetness. Again, in that instance, the lolly brand is using a clever marketing tactic by putting that big fat-free logo on there. Ooh, healthier, health halo effect. If you look at all the other lollies on the aisle or on the shelf, next to none of them are going to contain fat. Okay, it's just they're being cheeky. All right. So hopefully some of those have helped. Okay, not trying to scare you away from any food products. I'm just trying to help you navigate some of the marketing tricks. Okay, that some companies like to use. Okay. The final section I'm going to cover, okay, I'm going to share my screen. And for those of you on Instagram, hopefully it'll work for me. I'm going to flip the camera around for a sec. I'm going to take you through a little bit of nutrition label reading, okay, on the back of products. So I will share my screen. It should work. Beautiful. Here we go. Nice. Let's get the Instagram live stream flipped around. Perfect. Hopefully all of you watching on Instagram can see that. Now, this is straight from the Eat for Health website, okay? If you haven't heard of it before, I highly, highly encourage you to look at Eat for Health. It's got a wealth of information, okay, written for the general consumer trying to find out some more beneficial information about nutrition and healthy eating, okay? So this is straight from there. I really highly recommend you to look into the website, okay? Now, this is a pretty standard nutrition information panel, okay, or NIP for short. You see it here. Now, there's a hell of a lot going on this page. I'm just going to take you through a few of the main things so you're not overwhelmed, okay? Here you have all of the things which nutrient-wise, which are contained in the food, okay? The total energy content. In Australia, we like to use kilojoules, whereas in some other countries like America, calories or kilocalories are the main unit of energy, okay? So if you see this is just the total energy in the product, all right? That energy is made up of protein, this stuff, fat, this stuff, and then carbohydrates, this stuff, okay? Those three things make up this total energy quantity, all right? And then it breaks it down a little bit into different kinds of fat, sugars, which are a type of carbohydrate, and then depending on the nutrition information panel, all of them have to have sodium, and then some of them will have fiber, okay? And then some other things down the bottom depending on the product, all right? This column is per serve, all right? Now, the first thing I'll say here is just beware of the serving size, okay? Companies can pretty much set this to whatever they would like to. Some of the time it's reasonable. Some other times they like to set it to a quantity to market their product more beneficially on the front, okay? So just beware of how much they actually say. An example is breakfast cereal or granola. If you weigh out 30 grams of breakfast cereal or granola, I'm pretty sure you'll be fairly shocked compared to what you'd usually pour into a bowl, okay? The next column though is per 100 grams. Now, depending on the product, depending on what we're going to be consuming, it's more often than not probably best to compare products in this per 100 gram column, okay? I simply say that because different foods, or like I just said, different companies can set this serving size to different quantities based on how they want to market it, amongst other things, okay? So more often than not, you should probably use the per 100 grams to compare products, okay? Let's move on now to some of the things that we should be looking for when analyzing this, all right? First of all, I want to direct you to the ingredients panel, okay? Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Ingredients in food are listed in the proportion that they contribute to the product, okay? So in this product, cereals contribute most to this, I'm going to assume breakfast cereal, okay? The next prominent thing is psyllium husk. The next most prominent thing is sugar, okay? So if you see, and then it's listed in descending order of contribution. So if sugar or a type of sugar is up here, or oil or butter or a type of fat is pretty high up, like the first 1 to 3, I would be questioning whether it's the most beneficial product for you to be buying, okay? With the exception of cooking oil, which is pure oil, okay? So long story short there, the ingredients are listed in most prominent contribution to the product, okay? Let's move on to the second thing that I want to speak about. It will be the fat content, okay? Eat for Health have kindly given you a rough guideline in regards to what you should be aiming for in this fat column, okay? Generally, to choose foods, less than 10 grams of fat per 100 grams, okay? Generally speaking, based on the products. Even more importantly, I'll direct you towards saturated fat. Less than 3 grams of saturated fat here in the per 100 grams column is most ideal, most recommended, okay? It also helpfully includes other names for fats, which can be in here, okay? So it doesn't always say fat, doesn't always say oil. There's heaps of different kinds of things. For example, milk solids, coconut, lard, these sorts of things are all other sources of fat that manufacturers can add, okay? Next couple of things before we wrap it up, sugars, okay? Again, it's very handy. Eat for Health have said, aim for things or products with less than 15 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Okay, so this cereal is probably a decent choice. It's under 15 grams here. All right, here, which I'm circling right now, are other names for sugar, similar to what I was saying before, that we should be aware of. Okay, anything ending in ose, anything ending in syrup. Okay, and obviously anything ending in sugar is more often than not an actual source of sugar, okay? Including honey, okay? I'm not saying honey's bad, but honey is a way that people can add sugar to foods, okay? So keep an eye out when you're looking at ingredients panels. Again, like I was saying before, if there's a marketing tactic, natural sugars or free sugars, if any of these ingredients are in there, okay? Finally, I'm going to direct you to salt, okay? Something often overlooked. If we eat too much salt, it's not the best thing for our heart health in the future, okay? Aim for foods with less than 400 milligrams per 100 grams, okay? Even better, less than 120 milligrams, okay? And again, they've kindly put a whole list of ingredients here which can also contain salt or contribute salt to our foods that we may not think of, okay? So I'll say one more time, this is from the Eat for Health website. It is fantastic. I highly recommend that you have a look at that website if you've never been on there before, okay? thank you very much for listening this evening. I'm going to wrap it up there. Probably sick of hearing my voice. Okay. Does anyone want to ask any questions that you were thinking about along the way? Anything that I covered at all? Of course, those on Instagram are welcome to ask as well. Okay. No questions, nothing about planning, about potentially beneficial products, marketing tactics. No, you're okay?
Yeah.
No stress at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No stress at all.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully it's been of some help to you, okay? Stay healthy, enjoy the sunshine and the 25Ks, Melbournians.
Yeah.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye for now. Have a good week.
Okay.